Maddie, you still there?
Yep. You're now live.
I'm here.
Oh, can I see the full screen with the recommendations that has?
Can you see my screen?
No, I don't. I don't. Does anybody else?
No.
I just have the board members.
How about now?
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, we're good. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone for the August 17, 2020 Planning Board hearing for the town of Brookhaven. I'd like to begin by having a roll call. I'll begin with Mr. Zarcone. If you're here, say present. Ms. Kelly?
Present.
Mr. Walutis?
Present.
Ms. Dunn?
Present.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Rose?
Present.
My name is Vincent Pascal and I'm present. Do we have any participants in at this time? Any attendees?
It's like there's 28.
Okay. For the people who are participants or the attendees for this public meeting, please list next to your name the item number or the agenda that you wish to speak on. This way we know when to pull you in when the item comes up for discussion. Okay, I'd like to begin with item, from the side, and we also have with us Ms. Beth Raleigh, Commissioner of Planning, Ms. Eileen McCann, Secretary of the Planning Board. Ms. McCann, are there any items that are not going to be heard this afternoon on this agenda?
No, Mr. Chairman, all items are going to be heard.
All right, thank you. Let's begin with item number one. It's a miscellaneous matter, Selden Plaza, Lidl, number 8025 at Selden.
The application is for a facade change to an existing supermarket from a Best Yet to a Lidl. It is located on the northwest corner of Middle Country Road and County Road 83. There are 8 conditions dated 8/12/2020, which are staff recommendations for approval.
Is a participant, do we have any attendees or participants on this application?
We do.
Okay.
Ricardo Scarvini for Lidl Selden is here.
Okay.
Promote him when you're ready.
Can we have him on the screen?
Hold on, let me get it. I just promoted him.
All right, can we bring the Lidl representative on the screen? He needs to be sworn in.
I didn't just promote him. I'm going to tell him to.
John, do you see him?
I see him. I'm going to ask him to start his video too. I just asked him to start his video.
What was the applicant's name?
Ricardo Servini.
Scavini?
Servini.
Servini. Hi, Mr.
Mr.
Savini.
Servini,
Mr.
can you hear us?
Mr. Savini, are you there? Mr. Savini? John, I don't even see him listed as a participant or an attendee.
Yeah,
He's a panelist. The last one on the list. Can you hear Mr. Servini?
Is this John or Mr. Savini?
He's on chat, I think.
yes, he just put a bubble up on chat, said, can you see me?
Yeah.
He said he
He can
hears
hear
us.
us.
He says he hears us, right?
Can you see me? No, I can't. Let's come back to Lidl. I want to move on. When we get the attendee, we'll bring them in.
Want to go to number 2?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sills Road Bus Depot, MBS Fleet at Yaphank.
Property is located on the north side of Sills Road, 1,750 feet west of Long Island Avenue. Just pulling up the plan. The applicant is seeking to phase the bus yard project, doing the site work first and then the building work second in an effort to get the site open for the coming school year. The staff recommendation is to approve the phasing plan dated 8/14/2020, and that's what's on your screen.
Is the applicant present? Is the applicant present on this, John?
They have not identified themselves. I see it's an entity on the agenda, so I don't have a name. I'm looking at the attendees.
Eric Russo's representing them,
Oh,
and so is Jeff Volmuth.
Oh, great. Eric is here. I will promote Eric. And the other one is Jeff.
Jeff Volmuth from Volmuth and Brush.
All right, I should promote Mr. Russo. And let me see if I can find Mr. Volmuth.
All right, if you are a participant or an attendee and you'd like to speak on any of the items that are on the agenda this afternoon, please put a note stating next to your name what item or agenda name you wish to speak on, so we know when to call you into the discussion on that application. Is Mr. Russo present? Eric, can you hear me?
Eric needs to unmute himself.
Hello,
There he goes.
Eric, is that you?
that's me. Can you see
Oh.
me?
No, but I could hear. Oh, there you are, Counselor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you this afternoon, Mr. Chairman?
Doing well, doing well. All right, so we understand you want to do this as a phasing project. You want to explain to the board why and how long it will be before the actual construction on the building is completed?
Certainly. So as you're indicating, I represent MBS Fleet LLC in Santa Mauritius, and the site plan you previously approved was back in September 18th of 17, and it was going to be done at one time. We've subsequently acquired a building permit and had the building permit renewed. We gave in to Chip, We Built, and the planning division, and to Ms. Riley, the phasing of the project, which shows that the items that we've completed to date, which were drains, light bases, office foundation, septic system, water line, rough plumbing, and by September 4th, we intend to complete the other items that appeared below on the list. As of today, when I spoke with the property owner, curbing is done, binder asphalt is down, building foundation, rough plumbing is in, the office is being framed as of Wednesday. The water line is in, fire hydrant is being relocated by the Water Authority also on Wednesday, and we're continuing with the project. By September 4th. We plan on having all curbs and front entrance finished, berm being done by this Friday, asphalt and striping. And the concern is that because of essential services and the bus company having a commitment with the PatMed School District, they have to get the buses onto the site and they have to be ready and functioning for the school district by September 8th. Their plan is to try and have everything there on the buses on the site by September 4th. All the rest of the work, which would include the plantings, the rough electric, windows and doors, light poles, they anticipate having done by September 30th. And they hope by October 30th to have the building, the fence, the gate completed and everything CO'd and finished no later than December 30th. We're asking for the board to phase it based on the plan that Beaumont and Brush prepared so that we can continue. There's been ongoing inspections by Suffolk County DPW last week, Brookhaven Town Planning Division, and your engineer, Inspector Bruce Shaw. I've spoken to Angus Graham today about seeing if we needed a temporary certificate of compliance to operate at the site. His response was he would have to discuss it with the commissioner. He's not aware that he would be issuing something of that type. If planning signs off and the planning board approves it, then he would have no objection with us storing the buses there and start operations pursuant to this schedule if the board approves it. So we're here before you asking for that and hoping that you would allow us to continue and proceed. If you have questions, I'll be happy to respond. There is one further change. They're finding in the field that the roll gates that are shown in the front of the plan may be modified from a roll gate to a slide gate, but the vendor that they're using is RCA Fence Company, and RC Fence Company is also used by the town, and you're familiar with their work, and you shouldn't have an issue with the modification of the fence gate.
All right, Counselor. Are there any, anyone in the public in on the room as a participant, John? You have any public comment?
No one's identified themselves in the chat for public comment on this application.
Okay, if anyone's out there and you want to speak on this application, please state it with next to your name. And since you're not seeing anybody, I'll ask the board if you have any questions on this application. Any board members have questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
A motion by Ms. Kelly,
Second by Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Zarcone is not present. Mr. Walutis,
I vote yes.
Ms. Dunn,
Yes.
Mr. Rose,
Aye.
the chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Have a good afternoon. I hope to see you soon in person.
Well,
Yeah.
you look good there, no problem. You look good.
Thank you.
John, do you know if the Mr. Savini from Selden Plaza is now online, or can you bring him in?
I can try again. Let's try this one more time. Just promoted him as a panelist, and let's see, hopefully that we have better results this time. I promoted him and I have unmuted him, and I'm asking him to start his video.
Okay. Is there a reason why Councilor Russo is still on the screen? Are you part
Oh,
of the
let
application?
me demote him as well. Sorry about that.
Okay, I got a chat from Ricardo Savini. There. He's asking for meeting ID. Matt, are you there?
Yes.
Mr. Savini's asking for a meeting ID. I think that's one of the reasons why he can't get in on the video. Is that possible?
Yep, I'll respond in the chat.
Is that you, Mr. Savini? Okay. Mr. Savini, are you a lawyer or a counselor? Mr. Okay, Mr. Savini, I can't see you, but I'm going to go on your honor here. Can you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, Mr. Savini, I guess you're going to have to type it in, unless Matt could bring you in so we can actually talk to you to go over this application. Can everyone see what Mr. Savini is actually typing?
I can see it, Mr. Chairman.
I can see it.
I see nothing right now, though.
No, there's nothing on the screen. He just, he swore in. Matt, do you think you could bring him in for a live video sooner or later? Because I'll come back to this.
Yep, if you want to come back, I could even have him call in, see if you want to come back to this one.
Yeah, if you can call, I don't want to have him typing all day long to go over the nature of the application. So when you get him in, just let us know and I'll go back to the application.
Will do.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Okay, item number 3 is a change of use for a special permit at Sam's Club outdoor display at Medford.
The application is located on 2950 Horse Block Road in Medford, east of New York State Route 112. The application is for outdoor display of swing sets in an outdoor parking area, which requires a planning board special permit. The staff has 6 conditions for recommendations for approval. last dated 8/14/2020.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is the applicant present on this?
Do not have anybody identified. Nobody in the chat has identified themselves on this application. Looking to see if anybody is.
Is anyone in the public on the Zoom meeting at this time, a representative for item number 3, Sam's Club at Medford? Okay. I'll come back to that one, see if he can bring him in sooner or later. Item number 4, Stony Brook Square special permit at Stony Brook.
The application is located on the north side of New York State Route 25A, west of Cedar Street in Stony Brook. The applicant is requesting a special use permit for the installation of 2 restaurants with two takeout restaurants within the J Business 2 zoning district. The staff recommends approval with 5 conditions, last dated 8/11/2020. And the applicant's attorney is Tim Shea. John, if you see him.
Yeah, Tim's in there. Got him.
Okay, you bring him in?
Bring him in right now.
Mr. Pascal, we have Mr. Savini from the other on our screens now as well.
I see the chat, but I'll come back to him. I have Mr. Shea. Just leave Mr. Savini there, John. Can you bring Tim Shea in?
Mr. Shea is in. I'm asking him to start his video.
Hello?
Counselor, is that you?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Counselor, you want to go over the application? I think we have some people in the public who would like to speak on this application. Go ahead, present.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I even grew out my coronavirus beard so you could see me.
Maybe it's a good thing we can't. Just talk.
Okay. As the board knows, this property was subject of a planning board grant for the shopping center itself. We are not proposing to add any new space or change any of the conditions of the physical conditions of the site on the outside as pursuant to the prior site plan approval. The application before the board is for 2 special permits for restaurant use. Due to the fact that 2 of the tenants require greater than 2,000 square feet of space for their restaurants, so it would not qualify as a quote-unquote takeout restaurant under the town code. The 2 spaces in question total 2,314 square feet for a what's going to be the 1111 Vietnamese restaurant, and 2,611 square feet for what is going to be called the Organic Kush restaurant. The 2 restaurant spaces are located in buildings 3 and 4 respectively. If you're looking at the site plan, building 3 is on the right-hand side, upper right-hand side of the site plan, behind building 5, and that is along the easterly side of Stony Brook Square. The space in question are spaces B and C, which are located toward the northern end of building 3. Those 2 spaces are proposed to be combined to arrive at the 2,314 square foot total square footage for that space. Along building 4, which is at the northern end of the site plan, and travels east to west, it would be in space F, which is on the left-hand side of the building, or the building's western end, and that space will be 2,611 square feet, and it would be dedicated to the Organic Kush 30-seat restaurant. The inclusion of these two restaurant spaces do not require any further variance relief for parking. All the parking that has been previously approved and which is substantially complete would remain as is. There are 19 land bank parking spaces, which will remain as land bank parking spaces along the northerly border of the property nearest the residential neighbors. So there'll be no change to that area itself or any of the other elements outside the four walls of the buildings. We have read the proposed staff conditions and are in agreement with the same. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, I think I got a letter or an email from a couple people, at least one. John, is there anyone in the public wish to speak on this application?
You do have one person that has to identify themselves as such.
Okay, you want to bring him in?
All right, do you want me to take Tim out?
Oh, you can leave Tim there.
Okay, all right, understood. I'm gonna bring them in right now. Michael and Kathy.
Give him an opportunity to respond.
It's Michael / Kathy Vaith. I just voted them.
Who is the person we're waiting for?
Their names are Michael and Kathy Vaith. I've asked them to turn their camera on. I have promoted them as a panelist.
I think I got there. Oh, yeah, there we are.
Okay, now we can see you. Okay, can you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. Can you go ahead and ask whatever questions or concerns you have?
Okay, our only concerns are basically the location of any potential additional garbage containers due to smell and vermin and so on. That was our basic concern.
Okay, I believe I see him on the site plan. That was the only question?
Correct.
I'm
Okay,
circling where the dumpster is located here.
Can you see that, Mr. Vaith?
Yes, yes.
One there, and
And they are enclosed as well.
yeah, there's one here.
Okay, it's so with those, it's I guess our concerns are, you know, they get emptied at 4 in the morning type of thing. And again, as long as there's no additional garbage containers, you know, being placed on the lot, that's our only concern, I guess.
Okay, well, that's a good concern to have. So, Mr. Shea, do you want to respond to that or just add?
Yeah, certainly. First, the answer to the first question is very easy, is that there are no additional dumpsters proposed in addition to anything that was previously approved by this board. And with regard to refuse collection, the town code, I don't believe allows for refuse collection to be before 7 a.m. if it can be heard by the residential neighbors next door. So I would think it would not be an issue. And if there is a violation of the town code, obviously I would implore the neighbor to call. And as always, if he wants to call me, I'll be happy to speak to whoever has to be spoken to.
Okay, then, you know, we have no other concerns. We just, we're, you know, slightly concerned of that, but we welcome many new restaurants. That would be terrific. I wish them luck.
All right, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Reed. Does the board have any questions?
Just one quick question, Mr. Chairman. This is Richard Smith. Tim, you said that one was space F in building 4, and what was the space in building 3?
It would be spaces B and C would be combined.
B and C would be.
See them? I'm circling them for you.
Yeah, I've got it on my screen, Beth. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and that looks like that. How many square feet is B and C together, Tim?
It's a 2,314 feet, and I think it would still be essentially a takeout restaurant. Actually, no, it would be the same, 30-seat. Both that would be 30-seat restaurants.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have health department, or you still have to go to health department for this application, Counselor?
We have health department approval. The only thing holding up our building permit was obtaining the special permit from the planning board for the 2 restaurant spaces, because they're both over 2,000 square feet, and they require your action on this matter.
Okay. Any other questions by the board?
I just wanted to let the board know that the staff report does include a limitation on the size of each of those tenant spaces, so that the special permit is limited to those spaces with the square footage that is indicated on your staff recommendations. And I think that letter we received, Mr. Chairman, had a question from the Civic about the IA system.
I don't have the letter in front of me.
Yeah, the community had asked for, when the project originally came in, that they would do an IA system. So Mr. Shea, can you answer that, because they've raised it again?
That's the answer is the same. The health department did not require an IA system. IA system was not provided. Site plan is all done. You know, it's not a further requirement at this time.
Other questions by the board? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. V. I see that we have the representative for Sam's Club with us.
Yes, we have number 3 from Sam's Club. And we also have number 1 as well. Again.
Okay, well, let's go back to 3. Sam's Club outdoor display. Bring the applicant in, please.
I just voted them. Beverly Barraza here for Kimberly Horn. Kimberly Horn.
Yes.
Beverly Barraza, is that the representative for this app, Sam's Club?
Yes. Could we also add Lauren Sweeney to the call? Her and I will be presenting this.
Lauren Dutch, yeah. I've promoted Ms. Sweeney as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
We have video.
I do not have video capability. No, I apologize.
Okay, are you a counselor or lawyer?
I am from the engineering firm at Kimley Horn. We do a lot of the engineering and permitting processes for Electrify America.
Okay, will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, so Beverly, do you have your associate with you at this time?
Yes, I'm here. My video's on.
Okay, and you did say I do as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You want to go over the nature of this application with the board and the public?
Yes. So I'll give you a little bit of background here. So we represent Kimley Horn. We work for Kimley Horn, who represents Electrify America, and they were pursuing an application to install electric vehicle charging stations at the top right-hand corner of your screen in the parking lot. So that site plan and building permit have been approved by the municipality. And when we were going through that process, a few zoning violations were brought up on this existing Sam's Club lot, including the outdoor display area and the cart area that's labeled on this site plan. So the outdoor display area is a playground set that's currently in the parking lot already. And then there were carts that were in multiple locations of the parking field. And so staff had requested that we keep those carts in one centralized location, which is shown here. So really the only action on our part is making sure that the carts stay in that localized area. This is just a way to formally approve a cart staging area and the outdoor display, which is already in that current location.
And you still want to maintain the swings, that display area as well? That's
Yes,
correct?
yes, that's the outdoor display location.
Okay. Anyone, John, do we have anyone in the public or participant want to speak on this application?
Number 3, no one has identified themselves in number 3.
Okay, does the board have any questions on the application?
I do, Mr. Chairman. This is Richard Smith. The stalls that you're using for outdoor display, those 2 stalls, are those handicapped accessible stalls that you're using?
I'm not sure, but the site meets all ADA requirements with those stalls, like not including those stalls. So we meet the required number of ADA stalls we need.
Because it looks like there's a striped aisle next to it. I could be wrong. So you're saying that they could be accessible stalls, but even without them, you still have the required number?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions by the board? May I have a motion? Ms. Kelly, are you there? Ms. Dunn, can you make a motion, please?
Certainly. I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion closed by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Aludis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. John, you mentioned you had the applicant or the representative for Selden Plaza, Lidl on.
Yes, we have him on, and we have camera. So if I can unmute him when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Ricardo's unmuted now.
Commissioner, did you want to just review this application? It's been a while since the board, just refresh everyone's memory what the application is for.
Yeah, the application is for a facade change to the existing Best Yet to a Lidl. There are 8 staff conditions, last dated 8/12/2020. And the property is located on the northwest corner of New York State Route 25 and County Road 83.
Thank you. Okay. The applicant, you bring him in, John?
He is here, and he's ready to go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you, Mr. Savini. Thank you. Good.
Okay, thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you go over the application? Can you go over the application with the board and the public?
Sure. This is a simple project. Lidl is coming in and taking over the previous Best Market. They're doing some minor site changes, nothing major, in the fronts that they're going to be installing new storefront entry and exit doors. They're proposing an ADA ramp in that area there. They will only take up about 32,000 square feet of this space. And then to the left, which will be another 16,000 and change, they will not occupy that, which is currently part of the Best Market. But for this particular location, they only need 32,000 square feet.
So the rest of the other 16,000 square feet, that's going to remain vacant for the time being?
There will be, yes, until, the landlord finds someone to occupy that space. So, and then some other things around the building on the backside. There's a dumpster enclosure that they're proposing, new doors, stair and landing, minor things, nothing. It's pretty much going to remain as is, just with some modifications, minor modifications.
Now you're changing the facade on that, the color on the facade, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, they have in the elevations, you could see the proposed, they have their sign there with their logo and the brown backing.
Have you had any conversations with any of the staff members since last Thursday as far as the color on that, and there's some striping?
Michael, yeah, we spoke to Michael Albano, so he said everything looks good. And we also had a meeting with the Civic Association, and they had no comments. They're welcoming, the new business to come in. So. And I believe we have a letter from the Civic Association.
Okay, as far as the signage goes, you're going to the building department for that?
Well, that's a separate application.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to put that on the record. And the rest of the space to the other 16,000 square foot, when that comes back, that would have to go for future planning board approval as well.
Yes, so I mean, the exact square footage is 16,701 square feet.
Okay.
And then the exact space for Lidl is 31,595 square feet.
John, is there anyone in the public on this application?
No one has identified themselves in this application.
Okay, does the board have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Staff recommendation number 4 talks about a shopping cart management plan. Now, Selden is very littered with many, many shopping carts. What is the store's policy going to be to enforce this shopping cart management plan?
Well, we'll provide whatever the planning board is requesting. So we'll go back to the client and to the architect, and I'm sure they could come up with something to comply with your comments.
And you said all your carts are going to be store labeled, right? So they'll know it's your carts?
Yeah, I believe that shouldn't be a problem. You know, anything pertaining to the store, will be labeled properly, and they'll have the employees of the store. There'll be people dedicated for that aspect to maintain the carts.
I'm sure the best market or best yet, they had containment for the shopping carts in the parking area. Is that correct?
I would imagine that. I can't say yes or no, but I would imagine that they would have something in place for that.
It just happens to be a big problem in that particular area with all the shopping centers. That we are littered with shopping carts everywhere.
Okay. Well,
your attention to that.
Yeah, I'll relay the info back to the clients and to the architect.
Thank you, Mr. Savini.
Okay.
Other questions by the board? No other questions by the board. May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, John Rose will make a motion to close the public hearing and place the item on the decision calendar.
Motion closed by Mr. Rose,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith. Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Kelly.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 5, Rocky Point Smoke and Convenience Store at Rocky Point.
The application is located at 586 Route 25A in Rocky Point. It's Zone J6 Business. The application is to convert an existing building to a convenience store, which requires a planning board special permit, and they're seeking to also expand the parking area. There are 16 staff conditions, last dated 8/12/2020. The special permit in addition to the C-store is for a buffer to residential and parking in the front yard.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Rose is the applicant with us.
I think we have him right now. I just promoted him. Yeah, Mr. Patel. Oh, there we are.
Can you bring him in?
Are we there?
Yes, we have him.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Okay. Mr. Patel, can you please raise your right hand? Can you raise your right hand?
We did.
All right. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
We do.
You do.
Okay. Can you go over the application to the board and the public?
Excuse me?
Can you go over the nature of the application, explain what's being done on the
Yes, sir.
site?
The current smoke shop exists in Rocky Point, just diagonally across the street from this building. Mr. Patel purchased the building and would like to move the smoke shop across the street into this building and enlarge it to include a convenience store.
Is there any renovation or a facade change on the current building?
There'd be no facade change on the exterior. It was done and purchased in the same condition that you see it on the screen. Most of our work is going to be site work with regard to the parking, drainage, dumpster location, etc.
Okay, you're also expanding the parking area. You're going to fix all of the entire paved area as well?
Yeah, we're going to expand it to meet the current code.
And this requires a highway work permit. What's being done?
What we're trying to do is, if the existing curb cut is too far to the east for us to get the parking to work, so we're proposing to move the curb cut west to line up with the entrance aisle of the parking lot, and redo the sidewalks and the curb cut to match what's existing out there.
Is there any landscaping that's going to be added to the site?
Yes, there's a paved area in front of the site that's going to be removed. We're proposing to put a brick sidewalk from the existing sidewalk to the front of the building and to do some additional landscaping to the west side of that brick walk.
Can you expand that, Commissioner?
Excuse me?
Can you blow that up a little bit, expand it?
No, I can't.
Can't do that?
No. That's as big as I can get it.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you're going to put just the sidewalk and the landscaping is just going to be grass?
That's correct.
Have you received
Chairman, Steve Walutis, I have a question.
Sure.
How many parking spaces will you have, are you proposing?
I believe it's 21. I don't have the plan with me, and I can't read the one that's on the screen.
And there's going to be parking in front as well, in front of the building?
It's not in front of the building, no. It goes in front of the building on the west side, but there's nothing in front of the building. What's in front of the building will be landscaped.
Thank you.
Have you received a copy of the staff recommendations?
Yes, we have.
And you have all 16 of them. Do you have any questions on those recommendations?
I only have one question to ask the board. In the dumpster enclosure, they're asking for it to be 8 foot tall, the enclosure. That seems awful high. Normally we do them at 6 foot. And I was just wondering if this is something new that the town is requiring.
Is that a new code, Commissioner?
It's not a code, but it was a request of the staff. And it looks like, I'm trying to see why here. Is it residential parcel to the west? A residentially zoned parcel to the west? Is that where the dumpster is?
It is a residentially zoned parcel to the west, but it's an access driveway to the state. It's already paved. It's fully asphalted. There'll be no residences on that side of the building.
It's up to the board.
Okay. We'll take that into consideration.
It would be more in keeping with the size of the building and the aesthetics to bring it down to 6 foot. And I don't think we're going to be generating that much waste for this process anyhow.
The enclosure is going to be contained as far as you're going to have it fenced in, and you'll have some security, privacy slats in there as well.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Any other questions by the board?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, this is Richard Smith. There's a illustration of that enclosure on the plan. It's to the right of the actual site plan.
Here.
There it is. And the illustration calls it off as 6 feet in height.
Yeah,
That's correct.
And it says it's a solid PVC fence and posts.
Okay. All right. Mr. Doyle, was there anybody in the public who wanted to speak on this application?
Number 5, we do not have anybody who's identified themselves for number 5.
Okay. Any other questions by the board? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, Steve Walutis, I make a motion to close this public hearing and place it on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Walutis,
I second that motion.
second by Ms. Kelly. Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Rose. Mr. Rose,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Let's move on to item number 6, the Ronkonkoma Hub Phase 2A.
Trying to get the other plan up for you. Okay, hopefully it'll load up. The application is located on the southeast corner of Hawkins Avenue and Union Avenue in Ronkonkoma. It's construction of 388 residential units, 79,900 square feet of retail/restaurant space, 15,901 square foot of office, a parking garage, and parking. There are 5 staff conditions, last dated 8/14/2020 in your packet. Their recommendations for approval.
Thank you. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. John Wagner, Settlement Bowen for the applicant.
Mr. Wagner, can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or
I'm-
affirm?
He's an attorney.
I'm an attorney.
Oh, okay, never mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also have Mr. Lascanzo too, Robert Lascanzo.
Okay, Counselor, go ahead.
Okay, so just to give you a little context, this is Phase 2A of the Ronkonkoma Hub TOD development. Phase 1 was approved back in 2015 and has been since constructed. Phase 2A is basically sandwiched between the MTA parking garage on the east and Hawkins Avenue on the west, between Railroad Avenue on the south and Union on the north. It basically consists of 6 buildings surrounding a central village green that's intended to be a gathering space for the public. 2 of the buildings that we're proposing, which is buildings D and E, are actually located in that village green. And we recently obtained relief from the zoning board, allowing those buildings to be only 1 story high. They are currently envisioned to be restaurant space and to gather people into the space and energize the central area. The site is essentially split between 2 sub-districts of the Ronkonkoma Hub TOD, the B district, which is along Hawkins Avenue, and the D district, which is the remainder of the site. In the B district, just to orient you, there is a 4-story limitation on height, among other things, which causes us to have the westerly side of building F, which is at the north side of the village green. That's only 4 stories tall there to comply with that sub-district. Other buildings are 5 stories high. The buildings in general, consistent with the general intent of the TOD, contain mixed use. We have building G, which is at the far north of the site. That contains residential units, but the remaining buildings other than D and E, which I just mentioned, are a combination of various commercial uses and residential uses. The commissioner correctly indicated the sizing that we're talking about here. Just so you have some additional background, the parking for the site is in large part located in 2 parking garages, which are the northerly one that's right there. That's P2. That is that garage is basically partially below ground and partially above ground. It is intended for the use of both the commercial users of the site, and also I believe we have some residential and office use in there as well. There is another garage called the P1 garage, which is, you can't really see it here, but it's underground beneath the village green area, roughly speaking. And that P1 garage is going to be restricted access merely to residential tenants of the facilities. So we have general public can come in off of Union Avenue into the P2 garage, as well as residents, and residents only for the P1, which is underground.
Counselor, is that a multi-level? The P2 garage, is that multi-level or is it just?
P2 is multi-level, that's correct.
Okay.
I think we have 1.5 or 2 stories beneath the surface, and then the rest are above grade. So all in all, those 2 garages more than satisfy the parking requirements of the site as defined by the TOD. With regard to seeker, as you probably know, there was a very comprehensive GEIS process that was followed by the town board over many years pertaining to the original adoption of the TOD zoning district and the urban renewal plan that went along with that. That resulted in a finding statement that had a whole series of conditions and thresholds that had to be met for the remainder of the development pursuant to that zoning code. Those conditions and thresholds were set forth in the 2014 finding statement adopted by the town board. There is currently a finding statement that's before the board now, which is required by seeker because you are a separate involved agency and must issue your own finding statement. That finding statement that's before you today covers the entire build out and development pursuant to the TOD, which covers, you know, several acres altogether throughout this area, and will be developed in phases as we go along. As I said before, this is the second phase of development that we're putting before the planning board. We have reviewed the conditions that have been proposed by staff and discussed them, and in their final form, they are acceptable to the applicants. If you have any specific questions that I could address, not only I can answer your questions, but I also have the project manager on the phone. We have the engineer and the traffic engineer as well.
Oh, thank you, Council. John, is there anyone in the public or attendance on this application?
Yes, we have several members of the public. We have 3 people, I believe, because I think the 4th person is just someone from TriTech, jlc@tritech.com, I believe, is just what the applicant.
If you could bring them in and then leave Mr. Wagner, I don't know if there's enough room, but if you could just maybe block out some of the board members and bring the attendees in.
Yeah. Want me to bring them in one at a time?
Yes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to clarify for the record that the staff conditions are dated 8/14, not 8/12, and there are 5 of them.
I'm showing 8/12 on my agenda here. It might have been updated.
Yeah, they were updated. I had the same note. I just opened them up and they're dated 8/14.
Counselor, is that what you're showing on the bottom left, 8/14? Counselor, Mr. Wagner?
Yes, I think 8/14 is the corrected one for the conditions.
And those are the ones that you're in agreement with?
And the ones I'm in agreement with refer to a demolition permit in the first line. That's the one.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we have Mr. Joel Richardson as our first speaker.
Okay.
Good.
Hi, my name's Joel Richardson. I'm the civil engineer for the project. I don't have any
apologies.
Public statement to make. It's okay.
All right, then my apologies.
Mr. Lascalzo, is that Mr. Lascalzo? Lascalzo? Okay, please raise your right hand. You swear to or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead. You have some questions or concerns on this particular application?
I don't have any public statements. I just wanted to make one clarification. The P1 garage, which is 309 spaces, is under the residential buildings. It is, you can go back to that.
This is going to be accessed with a security key card, I would imagine, for residents only.
Yeah, very similar to what we're doing in phase 1.
Okay.
It's kind of an easy pass that goes on your windshield, and that's for residential only.
Okay. Was that your only comment?
That's it.
It's on the east side, Rob?
That it is on the parking is adjacent to Railroad Avenue. It runs adjacent to the MTA garage, and then it is also under. Yeah, if you just pull up the.
There we go.
everything that's outlined in red, and then there's one building that has red and green.
This one?
So it's a one-story underground parking structure under that building. So the building to the right that's adjacent to the MTA parking structure.
Here too?
Yeah, that whole building.
This one?
Yep, and then also down adjacent to the building that's along Railroad Avenue.
This one?
Yeah, it's a reverse C, and it's one story underneath all of those buildings, those three buildings.
All those residential buildings are 4 stories?
They're the 2 are 5 stories, and one, the building that is green and red, one side of it is 4. The side on the west side that's being pointed to, and the opposite side is 5 stories.
Mr. Doyle, was there someone else from the public?
We have 2 more people. The next one is Mr. Gould. I'll promote him now. And Mr. Mueller after that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Gould.
Hello. That's Mr. Gould?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have video?
I should. I don't know how to. Hang on. I have to ask my host. Okay.
There you go.
I'm here. Okay, good, great.
Okay, we see you. Can you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, sir.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Can you please state what the comments are or ask any questions?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So thank you and the board for allowing me to speak briefly. After looking at your map, I might be a little premature. My business, I own Houndstown USA. It's a pet care business on 12 Garrity Avenue, which I think is for future development. But I wanted to make sure we've been operating since 2004 as Houndstown. It's an essential service. And we also have a charity, Houndstown Charities, that we support the local shelter. We're an overflow facility for the Brookhaven Town Shelter. And as I said, we've been operating our business there as an essential service since 2004. It's the former Ronkonkoma Post Office. So I guess just my comment was, and as I said, I apologize because I look at the map and you're not really getting to me yet. But we've been trying for the last couple of years, when I say we, my representatives, to try to make sure that our business isn't going to be upset by this. And we want to just be on the record that we're willing to do whatever is necessary to continue our service to the community. We've been good neighbors there. Since we've been there, we've taken care of hundreds of thousands of animals. And I think the records will suggest that we've been nothing but good neighbors, as well as with the Brookhaven shelter. So that's my comment. I don't know where we're at in terms of this particular planning board meeting. So again, if it's not appropriate, then obviously I'll jump in on the next one.
Okay, well, at this time, we're looking at the site plan that's in front of the board, and that's what we're looking at right now. So I don't know what the future plans. I mean, Mr. Scouser or Councilor Wagner might have some input. You might want to get in touch with them and see what impact it may have in the future.
Yeah, just if I can add, Mr. Chairman, this application before us today is 2A. It is strictly east of Hawkins Avenue. It does not extend across Hawkins to Garrity or anyplace else.
Correct. That's why I say what we're looking at today is that particular parcel. So
okay.
Any future plans you might want to discuss with Councilor or Mr. Scouser down the road, okay?
Thank you for your time.
When that parcel comes up, you'll be notified, and then at that time you could come in again.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Doyle, is anyone else in the public?
Yes, we have Mr. Wayne Mullen. I will vote him now. Mullen voted.
I'm sorry, did you say Wayne Mueller?
Yes.
Mueller, I'm sorry, Mr. Mueller, I apologize.
Yes, this is Mr. Wagner. Mr. Mueller is the traffic consultant for the applicant. So.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody else, Mr. Doyle?
Somebody made a comment in the chat. I'm just asking if they'd like to speak. They have not gotten back to me. Leanne, if you're listening, if you'd like to speak, just identify that you would, and we will bring you in.
responding.
Somebody
wait.
who put a,
Someone put their hand up. Also, cute baby prairie dog. If you'd like to speak, just please let us know. We can bring you in right now. I see your hand is up. Oh, she does want to. I'm bringing in this this individual.
Who's this?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't have video.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you are.
Hi, yes. I'm a resident. I live on
Oh,
Garrity Avenue.
wait, Miss Prairie Dog or whatever your name is, cute baby. Can you please raise your right hand?
Yeah, right hand.
Okay, good. I see it. Can you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I live on Garrity Avenue. I live right by Houndstown. And I'm, have a big question about traffic. It's already a problem here. I have kids who have actually been hit by cars. I have my kids who have almost been hit by cars. My dog was hit by a car. These people come flying down, ignoring the one-way signs and the stop signs. Now you're putting up more buildings, which means more traffic, which means even more danger for my road. And I want to know what your plan is. I mean, I'm all for the train station hub and for, revitalizing, but I want to know how you're going to keep these two side streets safe, because it's already dangerous. And I'm very concerned about the safety of my children.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before we go further, can we have a name for cute baby prairie dog?
I was just going to ask you.
Leanne Yap, and I have filed petitions, my whole block. I've had signed petitions and the block behind me. I've begged for help from police. I have done a lot to try to make this road safer, and nothing has ever helped. And I want to know what, obviously when you bring in more people, you're bringing in more traffic, and I'm very worried about the safety. Have you considered closing off the bottom of Garrity Avenue to protect these two residential blocks in this zoning area?
All right, Council, can you answer that? Because I know you've done numerous traffic studies for this particular project.
I can tell you that the traffic for the overall TOD development, which includes the entire 53-acre area covered by the TOD zoning, was comprehensively studied as part of the seeker review that was done by the town board. And the result of that was essentially several mitigation levels of traffic improvements that need to be made as the project progresses from phase to phase. This particular project today, we're up to mitigation level 2 and 3 of those levels.
What exactly are those levels?
They are basically, you have to basically refer to the tables that are in the finding statement. Essentially, there was an extensive, comprehensive study of traffic impacts that was done by VHB Engineering as part of the GEIS process for the approval of the Ronkonkoma hub. And it was that process, that analysis was done based upon full build out of the site pursuant to a maximum density plan. And there's a whole variety of different mitigation measures, ranging from re-signaling of intersections to addition of dedicated turning lanes and various additional lanes for traffic that was anticipated from the proposed development. Each one of the mitigation levels is keyed into the number of additional trips, vehicle trips that are generated as the development builds out. The idea was that as we have more vehicles from increased development, we need to do more things to mitigate traffic in the surrounding roadways. So, it's a stepped process.
They use our block to
Wait, Miss Prairie Dog, let the councilors finish his statement.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
I can't tell who's using your block, ma'am, but I mean, I can tell you that this entire area was comprehensively studied. I think that perhaps it might help you if you were to review the traffic mitigation measures in the finding statement. You may find items on there that will mitigate some of the traffic in your area. I can't say that your house was specifically evaluated. I'm not quite sure where you live on Garrity. but, Garrity and all of these areas were studied. I do not know of any intent to block off Garrity Avenue, at any point in our proposed development of the TOD.
But the mitigation, that calls for increased signalization as well, or just enhancing the signals?
There are new signals in some places. There are signal timing adjustments. There are dedicated turn measures that are put in place. All of these were devised by the traffic engineers based upon their understanding of the future traffic conditions that would result from the proposed development as it progresses over the years.
Did they consider the fact that people avoid going down Hawkins and Ronkonkoma Avenue to cut through Garrity Avenue? Was that considered during this plan?
I can't tell you specifically. Perhaps the traffic engineer can answer that. I know that there were a variety of comments that were made regarding traffic outside of the actual mitigation measures. Traffic was obviously a very large issue with the seeker review for the project, and a number of comments were made during a review of the draft generic environmental impact statement. We call it the DGEIS. And those comments from the public, including, I believe there were a couple of comments regarding Garrity, were addressed in the final generic environmental impact statement. That was the document that essentially answers the questions from the public and that precedes the issuance of the finding statement. The town board issued its finding statement in 2014 for the project. And that's basically the completion of a seeker review, which addressed the traffic considerations. And these considerations, as I say, were comprehensively studied in all those documents. So, I invite you, if you'd like, to read all of the documents in the seeker record, which would
I would definitely I would definitely like a copy, but I am going to I want it clearly stated that this is a concern, because if anything does happen to my children, I am coming after the town.
Okay.
Because
Well,
I'm extremely worried about that.
I understand. If you want them to have a copy, that we can make those available to you. You can contact the town. I'll make sure you get a copy.
Who do I contact?
You can call 451-6421.
6421. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Doyle, or any other one in the public wish to speak on the application?
No, that was it.
Any questions by the board? May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Mr. Rose,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to item number 7, Old Orchard subdivision at Wading River. Commissioner? Commissioner, are you there? Anyone hear me?
I'm coming, okay.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
The application is located on the northeast corner of New York State Route 25A and Randall Road in Wading River. The request is for preliminary subdivision approval for 10.791 acres into 13 lots, utilizing the Pine Barrens Credit Program. The application has conditions, 27 in number, last dated 2/27/2020. And I think Mr. LaSquadra is representing them, Mr. Doyle.
Yes, that is, I was the squad
Yes.
on.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Counselor. Can you hear me, Counselor?
Yes, sir, I can.
Good afternoon. You want to go over the application with the board?
I sure will. Well, good afternoon also to Mr. Doyle and the commissioner and members of the board. With me as well, I don't think he's been joined in yet, but certainly available for you to answer any questions, particularly with regard to technical aspects of the plan is Jeff Butler, the applicant's engineer.
Hey,
I did find
Councilor,
Mr. Butler. I did just promote him.
Councilor, before we begin, did you
Yes, sir.
receive a copy of the staff recommendations?
I did not.
Okay, Commissioner, you think you could put them up for Mr. Esquadro to look at real quick so he can see what we're discussing?
Just put them up,
Yeah, can you, can you read those, Mr. Esquadro?
the 27 of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Recommended approval for subdivision design subject to the following covenants and conditions. One covenant, A through E, no further subdivision of lots, no more than 50% of each lot in fertilizer dependent vegetation. No vehicular ingress or egress to Randu shall be permitted for lot 1. All access should be from the proposed interior roadway. All homeowners are advised that town law prohibits dumping or other disturbances, i.e. litter, garbage, yard waste, tree, branch, shrub debris, leaves, grass clippings on town open space. All homeowners are advised that the law prohibits the usage of motorized vehicles, quads, etc. on town-owned open space. Covenants shall be, want me to keep going?
You know, I see those, and those are fine. And in fact, that is my understanding in any event, particularly with respect to all access being from the interior roadway, none off of 25A.
Okay. The covenants should be stated shown on the individual surveys at the time of building permit. At the time of final application, the applicant shall designate the lots for the workforce housing, and the applicant has to enter into a contract with the housing group for the continued monitoring and maintenance. That's our standard code language. Obtained from the Pine Barrens Bank and Clearinghouse, the 3 Pine Barrens credits required for the application. Buffers proposed as on the north and south shall instead be dedicated to the town for open space purposes. And the buffer and open space along the northerly boundary of lot 1 through 6 shall be increased to 40 feet, revise the map accordingly. The time of open space dedication, enter into an agreement with the town for the required revegetation on those areas. The above noted open space shall be properly identified with concrete survey markers and removal of litter and debris. And that's our usual standard language. A 4-foot high chain link fence in accordance with the engineer's standings along the open space. Adjust the proposed building setbacks and lot areas in accordance with the required open space conditions, and they're subject to approval of the board at the time of final approval. If deemed necessary at the time of final application, leaders and gutters to dry wells. Erosion control practices shall be used at all times.
Yes.
Limits of vegetation clearing shall be delineated in the field with snow fencing. That's during construction. Individual lot clearing shall not occur until valid building permit. Existing vegetation outside the building envelope shall be preserved to the maximum extent practicable. Apply for and obtain a SWIP. Subject to the compliance with the soil remediation plan and dust mitigation plan. Prior to the issuance of the first individual CO, they shall submit a closure report summarizing the results of that plan. Subject to approval by Suffolk County Health, subject to town highway work permit, subject to DOT work permit. Developer shall submit a notarized statement signed by the future homeowners that they acknowledging the covenants and conditions for their lots. Provide a road widening dedication along Randall Road to the town. Street trees in accordance with town standards. Submit a tree planting plan at the time of final. All existing structures and driveways to be removed. Applicant shall submit a final subdivision map in complying with the town subdivision regulations. And the last one is add a note to the plan. Approval of this map is authorized pursuant to the resolution of the planning board dated, fill in the blank that it's approved, adopted pursuant to New York State Code Article 16-A, Long Island Workforce Housing Act. And those are last reviewed by Larry. So I think ours was the last Larry application on 2/27/2020.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Call you Evelyn Woods from now on. Counselor, questions, concerns on those recommendations?
No, none at all.
So you're in agreement with those?
Yes, sir.
All right, so can you go over the application with the board and whoever in the public is?
Yes, and of course, this will be a subject to or to be amplified by any technical questions or details that you may wish answered by Mr. Butler, who is available. But as the commissioner said, the overall parcel is just shy of 11 acres. The applicant is proposing 13 lots. There is a density increase, as the commissioner noted. That's from applying 3 Pine Barrens credits, and also from the application for one additional, a workforce housing credit. So 13 total. Average lot size comes in at about 24,000 square feet. Natural landscape buffers are provided on 25A, that's 75 feet, and on the back of the property, which borders the rails to trails, and that would be 20 feet. There's 750 feet of interior roadway. All lots front on the interior roadway, as we discussed earlier, none on 25A. The applicant has responded to all comments from Mr. Pisano, Mr. Albano, and from McLean Associates. There was a soil mitigation plan proposed by AKRF. I understand it's been accepted by the town and by the Suffolk County Department of Health Services. As was noted previously, there will be improvements made to Randall Road, to which the applicant agrees, and there will be also a sideway connection to the rails to trails, which will be built out, what I would call on the rear side of the property, which would be the north side of the parcel. And so those are my overall comments and observations and an overview. If there's any additional questions that you might have, I'd be happy to answer them in conjunction with Mr. Butler, who, as I noted, is available, and he's here on the call or on the meeting.
I'll bring the public in, but Councilor, before the egress to Randy Road, is that a right turn only, or is that right and left?
I believe that is right and left, but we could have Mr. Butler qualify that.
Okay, so let's go out to the public, and then when the public is done, if they don't ask the question as well, let's bring Mr. Butler in. So, John, who do we have in the public?
I don't actually have anybody who's identified online to speak on this application, unless somebody wants to speak up now, raise their hand, or put it in the chat. But nobody has actually signed up for this one yet.
No one in the public. Nothing in the attendance?
Nope.
Okay.
We did get a written comment, I think, beforehand, correct, Commissioner?
Yes, we did. Yes, there's an email that was sent. Can we put that email up on the screen?
I don't see that it was uploaded into our system.
I have it on my other office computer.
Maybe
Mr.
Ms.
Smith.
McCallion has it?
Counselor, did you receive any letters from the community in reference to this application?
I have not, nor has the applicant.
I see there's a Mr. Bakowitz in there. I don't know if he's here for that one, for this one.
Can we find out?
Mr. Bakowitz sent an email?
No, he's in our queue. Bill Bakowitz, I see his name in there. I don't know if he wants to speak or not, but if he does, he needs to let John know.
John, can you communicate with that gentleman and find out if he would like to speak on this application?
Certainly.
Mr. Chairman, this is Steve Walutis. The letter received had to do with the traffic on 25A and the Randall Road intersection.
What about Mr. Marticello? He might be someone as well.
Mr. Bakowitz does not wish to speak. I just sent a message to Mr. Marticello. Mr. Butler has also been promoted, just so you know.
Do we know if we have a traffic light at Randall Road and 25A?
We have traffic safety comments. That's our town's traffic safety comments. Provide a stop sign at the proposed site access roadway and provide road improvements to town standards. And then DOT says they did an investigation, including an accident analysis. Field observation showed all existing traffic control devices are properly located and functioning as designed. The results of our study did not meet the traffic signal warrants. Therefore, the installation of a traffic signal at this location would not be appropriate at this time. The traffic signals installed at the locations where they are not warranted can cause an increase in accidents and congestion. However, if the town anticipates an increase in traffic due to upcoming development, and since the development may not require a state highway work permit as the access is proposed from Randall, we recommend that the town require them to do that. And our comments did not, our traffic safety does not look like they asked to do that.
We bring Mr. Butler in?
He's in.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, the gentleman that sent the email about the traffic, his name is Rich Rosen. He sent quite a lengthy email with photographs and such.
I have that email on my. So he's requesting that the subdivision not have an ingress on Route 25A, but only on Randall Road, which the only access point is Randall Road.
Yes, that has been accommodated.
Okay. Do we have
Looks like that was his major concern.
Yeah. Do we have Mr. Butler available?
Yeah, Butler's.
Can you bring him in?
Butler should be in. I did promote him. Yeah, Mr. Butler's here.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay. Can you just go over with the board and I guess some of the concerns of the residents? That ingress, egress, it's a right turn only or left turn is both, and what mitigation? Are you doing any acceleration lanes to the Randall Road access?
Randall Road is undergoing a 10-foot wide shoulder improvement, as is shown on the plan, with curbs and sidewalks and drainage. And the access from Dante Way out on Randall Road is a right and left turn only, right and left turn. It's not limited to right turn only. And that's what was presented to both the town highway and the state highway, and that's the information they used to come to their conclusions.
Is there a center turn line on that Randall Road for the ingress as well?
The only mitigation was the addition of the shoulder, not a turning lane.
Okay, so it's a 2-lane road?
Correct.
So if somebody is traveling west and they want to go into the site, they'd have to hold up traffic if there's traffic heading east?
Traveling, I'm not following the traveling west. On Randall Road?
Yes.
Traveling south, perhaps?
I guess it's south. I'm looking at this map, but all right. So if someone's traveling south and they have to wait for the northbound traffic, they have to hold up traffic behind them before they can make the entrance.
So that's the reason for the 10-foot shoulder addition, the widening of the road, Mr. Chairman?
Okay. All right. So the actual that would be on what it'd be on the west side, the widening.
The west, yeah, the west side from Route 25A all the way down past the entrance where Dante Way is being widened 10 feet with a shoulder, an appropriate shoulder.
Mr. Doyle, is there anyone yet that responded to your request for speaking?
No, they have not. No one has responded to my inquiries, made it or raised their hand or otherwise made an indication.
All right. Are there any questions by the board?
Chairman, can I
Yes,
just
I have
ask
Mr.
the
Chairman,
size of
Steve
the
Walutis. Mr. Butler, how far is the intersection? I think you said Dante Way to 25A. What's the distance when we're going south?
It's approximately 300 feet.
Excuse me?
It's approximately 300 feet.
300 feet, okay.
And Mr. Chairman, John Rose wanted to ask a question about the size of the buffers on the north and the south, and what is to the south of this property?
Well, to the south is 25A.
Okay, then to the north, right.
And then to the north, there is currently the LIPA right-of-way, which is now in the process of becoming, or presumably will be in the process of becoming rails to trails.
Okay. And can you just tell me, Mr. LaSquadro, the size of the buffers on the north and the south?
On the north, there is 20 feet. On the south, on the 25A side, there's 75 feet. But again, on the north, you have that substantial area that will comprise the rails to trail area, which is now the LIPA right-of-way.
Yes.
So you'll have a substantial buffer between
This shows
the
it very
north and
clearly.
then residences that would be on the other side of what will be the rails to trails.
All right. Thank you very much.
Other questions by the board? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
And this wanted to be, to further answer your question, Mr. Rose, the staff recommendation regarding the buffers is that the northerly boundary of lots 1 through 6, so that's right here on the screen now, to be increased to 40. That's the staff recommendation.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Riley.
Counselor, were you aware of that?
I was not. And that wasn't, I did not see that in the recommendations that were from Mr. Constantino that we referenced earlier, but
Right here,
or maybe they
number 5.
were and I just didn't see them.
Yep. Right here.
Okay.
And I did find the community comments. So on the agenda item K, it says community comments. So they are uploaded for the board.
Okay.
You will have them.
Okay, so you're part of the official record.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Steve Walutis. I make a motion to close this public hearing and place it on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Walutis.
Chairman, I'll second that
I
motion. This is
second
Pete
that
Zarcone.
motion.
Okay, I understand Mr. Zarcone joined the meeting, so seconded by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly?
Aye.
Ms. Dunn?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Rose?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, I'd like to go back to item number 1, Selden Plaza, Lidl at Selden.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the applicant's request to change the facade of an existing supermarket at 211 Middle Country Road in Selden from a Best Yet Market to a Lidl Market, along with all staff recommendations, numbering 1 through 8, last revised August 12th, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Rose,
Second.
second by Mr. Smith. Ms. Dunn?
Aye.
Mr. Walutis?
Aye.
Ms. Kelly?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Mr. Zarcone wasn't present for the presentation, so 6-0. Item number 2, Suez Road Bus Depot, MBS Fleet at Yaphank, phasing.
What's my paper? Excuse me one moment. Chairman, I make a motion to approve this phase 1 in as submitted. I'm sorry, I make a motion to approve the phase-in plan that was dated 8/14/2020.
Motion by Ms. Kelly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Walutis, second. Ms. Dunn? Ms. Dunn? Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Rose?
Aye.
Ms. Dunn?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 3, Sam's Club Outdoor Storage Out Display at Medford.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve this application, subject to staff recommendations number 1 through 6, last revised 7/21/2020, including planning board special permits and variances number 1 and 2, number 1 being 85-430.E and number 2 being 85.8 5-2 as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Ms. Kelly,
Second.
second by Mr. Walutis. Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Can I have a secret determination on item number 4, Stony Brook Square, special permits at Stony Brook?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for a negative declaration.
Motion for a neg deck by Mr. Smith,
I second that motion.
seconded by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Rose,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Kelly.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Mr. Chair votes aye. Can I have a motion for Stony Brook Square, special permits at Stony Brook?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve the installation of 2 restaurants within 2 existing tenant spaces in the Stony Brook Square with staff recommendations numbered 1 through 5, last stated August 11, 2020, and to approve 2 special permits for the restaurant. That would be 85-427 Point K.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Rose,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Kelly.
Aye.
The chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Item number 5 is secret determination for Rocky Point Smoke and Convenience Store at Rocky Point.
Mr. Walutis, I make a motion to, for a negative declaration.
Motion for a neg deck by Mr. Walutis.
Lori, I'm in the planning board here.
I'm sorry. Who's second?
I second that motion.
Second by Ms. Kelly. Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Rose.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Motion for Rocky Point Smoke and Convenience Store at Rocky Point.
This is Mr. Walutis. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the application to convert an existing building to a convenience store requiring planning board special permits and expanding the parking area, subject to staff recommendations 1 through 16, dated August 12, 2020. I'd like to amend recommendation number 4, just get the language, which has to do with the dumpster enclosure. The second sentence of that recommendation, I'd like to read, the dumpster enclosure shall consist of walls measuring 6 feet rather than 8 feet in height, which complement the building facade. As I said, this is subject to staff recommendations 1 through 16. I also asked to approve the special permits, 3 of them, specifically number 1, 85.478B, convenience store. Number 2, 85.843.B, buffer to residential zoning, 25 feet required, 2 feet proposed. And 3, 85-855A, parking in front yard, 5 to 25 feet required, 6 feet proposed. As these are all staff recommendations as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Okay, motion by Mr. Walutis,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Rose,
Motion.
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Kelly. Ms.
Aye.
Kelly. Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
Aye.
Item number 6, Ronkonkoma Hub Phase 2A.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adopt the CEQA finding statement for the Ronkonkoma Hub.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Rose,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Kelly. Ms. Kelly.
Aye. Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Item number 7, Old Orchard subdivision at Wading River.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, we need a motion for the site plan.
Need a motion for secret determination.
No, you didn't do the motion on the hub, you just did your secret.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. On the hub?
Yeah, you did the finding statement. Now you need to do your site plan.
We're going back to 6?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't do a motion.
I'm not showing a secret determination on my sheet.
We needed it, and I advised Mr. Smith, and that's the motion he made.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to item number 6. I have a motion on the hub.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the construction of the site plan for Phase 2A of the Ronkonkoma Hub with staff recommendations numbered 1 through 5, last revised August 14th, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Rose,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Item number 7 is secret determination on Old Orchard subdivision at Wading River.
Mr. Chairman, this is Steve Walutis. I make a motion for a negative declaration.
Motion for neg deck by Mr. Walutis,
I'll second that. I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman. Pete Sarcone.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Rose,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. Can I have a motion on the Old Orchard subdivision?
Yes, this is Mr. Walutis. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the subdivision for a 10.791 acre parcel into 13 lots utilizing the Pine Barrens Credit Program, subject to staff recommendations 1 through 25, dated February 27th, 2020, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Walutis,
And I'll second that motion. My name is Pete Sarcone.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Rose,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 7-0. On decision calendar, Lowe's of Stony Brook is staying on a decision calendar pending findings report. Is there anything the board would like to discuss before we adjourn the meeting? Was that a yes from someone? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, this is Pete Sarcone. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Zarcone,
Second,
I second.
Walutis.
second by Mr. Walutis. Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Rose,
Aye.
chair votes aye, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.